explain to you something, why we need to look at the motor vehicle as a tax as proposed in the bill. Somebody who has a vehicle definitely has some income, because he'll fuel the car, he'll buy the car. But as I said, not everybody who has a motor vehicle is paying taxes. And that brings us to a tax regime that basically addresses areas.
What do you mean? Yes. When they fuel their car,
yes,
they're paying tax, aren't they? On fuel, isn't it?
Tax on income. I meant tax on income. That is a consumption tax.
Okay, so
yes.
Which income? Which income is this that owners of motor vehicles don't pay?
The income that you got, for example, to go and pay that fuel should have been taxed on you.
Lakini kwa yule ambaye anapokea mshahara, kwa mfano, kama mimi na Sam hapa, mwisho wa mwezi tutapokea mshahara ambao utatozwa ushuru wa PAYE. Kwa hivyo ukija ukinitoza ushuru tena wa gari, ni kama umenitoza ushuru mara mbili. Mimi sio ama Sam wale ambao wanapata mshahara, sio wale ambao hawalipi ushuru. Kwa hivyo unawezaje kuseparate hizi group mbili ambazo unazitaja?
Actually, that is now the main area of discussion. If we are to go for those people who are earning salary only, to get the level of tax that will boost our economy, it means that we have to increase the taxes to compensate for that other person who has a car, but somehow he manages to not to pay. I talked about the issue of compliance. And there are people, as I said, in the economy who, because they are somehow difficult to target, they don't pay taxes on their income.
So how do you protect the one who pays PAYE, who pays affordable housing levy, who pays all these other taxes from this motor vehicle tax, if indeed you are targeting the one who does not pay tax at all?
We are targeting everybody. That person who has a car, when he pays the motor vehicle tax, don't you see that now he will actually within the tax radar? Yes? And therefore, we, using our systems, we can as well follow these people who might be having income or having expenditure that is related to income that they are earning. But when you go to their tax declaration, you find they are not declaring anything. But I need to emphasize my point. These people, and it's not only the people who own motor vehicles, there are people who are in certain businesses which are also difficult to tax. What the tax policy would require is that you have what we call a presumptive tax. The presumptive tax may be based on an asset, and I think that is a question that members of the public have been asking. Why are you taxing asset?
Okay, yes. we hear you, Maurice, and that's a very contentious issue because, and we'll come back to it, because even organizations like companies that also pay taxation, which is on income tax, they also own motor vehicles. They are servicing, I mean, they're financing the operations of the government through different cadres of taxation. But we'll get back to that. First, you have to cross over to the Oversight Studio. Ayub and Nimrod, over to you.
Thank you, Sam and Mashirima. At the Oversight Studio, we are joined this evening by Busia County Senator Okia Omtata, Githunguri Lawmaker Gathoni wa Mushomba, and nominated MP John Mbadi, who as well is the chair of the Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly. They have been itching listening to the conversation at the government studio where Sam, you and Mashirima are. And first to you, Honorable John Mbadi, what's your observation and your response to some of the submissions made by the government delegation at the government studio?
Thank you very much, Ayub. Let me start by saying thank you for welcoming us here or inviting us to this studio to have a conversation on this very important topic. I'm happy that the people of Kenya from last year have been more conscious about taxation issues. But having said that, let me start by saying that in the traditional African society, leaders used to have what we used to call the wise men, and now you can call it wise men and women, who would tell them exactly when things are going wrong. I think President Ruto needs those wise men and women. The level of advisors that he has is failing him. And now look at the people who are representing Kenya Kwanza in the government studio. You listen to them, and I'm happy that they're in another studio and not where we are seated, because I think it would not have been very nice. Some of our reactions would have been a bit condescending. But let me not go in personal. I would like to start by saying this, that listening to their argument about broadening the tax base clearly demonstrates lack of understanding of what is tax base. And I'm shocked that the gentleman from KRA, someone who is very senior in KRA, his understanding of tax base is so wanting. How would you say that motor vehicle tax is going to target those who are not paying taxes as at now? First of all, when you purchase a motor vehicle, over 40% of its value is actually tax. Again, in using that vehicle, we pay a lot of taxes. And even in maintaining it, there are a lot of taxes. So you cannot say that that vehicle, I mean the person who owns the vehicle, is being brought to the tax bracket or to the tax base. Secondly, where is this new tax that is targeting new taxpayers? Even when you talk about VAT on bread, VAT on bread, the 16%, those who are going to pay VAT on bread obviously are paying a lot of taxes on other commodities. So you cannot say that this new tax is targeting Kenyans who are not currently paying taxes. What about VAT on insurance and reinsurance services? As a matter of fact, insurance and reinsurance services, those companies pay a lot of taxes to our economy, including those who even benefit from the same services that they offer. Financial services. I want to tell Ruto, please, the President of the Republic of Kenya, listen to us. Do not treat money transfer as income. Money transfers, I today would want my mother in the village to receive 1,000 shillings, 5,000 shillings, 10,000 shillings. That is my income, which has already been taxed at sometimes 32.5%. What I am doing is just to facilitate or help my mother meet the basic necessities of life, where when she goes to the market and she goes to the shop, she still continues to pay VAT on almost every commodity that she will purchase using that tax. Look at the edible oil, the excise duty on edible oil. Edible oil is basic commodity for the poor household in this country. Now, let me summarize it by saying the following, that the problem with the tax proposals in the current finance bill of 2024 is that it is targeting the low-income earners and the middle-income earners. Beginning with the motor vehicle owners, who are largely going to be affected are middle-income earners, including the commercial vehicles, which is going to make the cost of manufacture very high, including those vehicles which are used in agricultural production. Again, I have just mentioned the VAT on bread, edible oil excise duty. There is also the sugar. We are trying to revive the sugar industry, yet you are now imposing a 16% VAT on transportation of sugarcane to the factories. What are you trying to do? Let me, please, if you allow me just one more minute. You see, I have heard my colleagues talk, and Honorable Bill Okero actually ably put it, that the difference between Kibaki's approach, because Kibaki also came to power when we had economic challenges in our economy, and the difference is that President Kibaki grew the economy, or came up with policies to grow the economy. But something else that has not been mentioned is that President Kibaki emphasized on tax management and tax administration. You remember that those who are working in KRA were rained on, and those who are stealing our taxes, that was reduced to bare minimum. And within 1 year, we had collected triple what was being collected during Moi's time. Those are the kind of innovative ideas that we expect the current regime to employ.